I think it will be good to first and foremost establish how exactly mindfulness, the concept that you want to proliferate among everyone, how it has aided and helped you progress in life. Perhaps with some examples from your childhood as well, Mr. Suryaraj.
Yeah, I think, I mean, like I started really this practice, as I told you, somewhere in 1980s, you know, just around the time that I started my work life. And in work life, around that time, I had the most important experience in my life. That's just a few months after I started work, my father died. I was just 20 and I had just started work. Having failed A levels, I couldn't go to university, and then I started this job. And my father was looking at me from far, you know, he might find his way, kind of thing. And then we had a very nice relationship with him. And he was just sick for 2 days, and next day, right? And I was with him when he died. Uh, that that was a very, very profound experience, because I was with him in the last minute. He said, I'll be going in 1 hour. I asked where. He didn't speak. That was the last he spoke. And exactly in an hour, he got a heart attack, and he died. Now, in that moment, I realized, up to that second, the last breath, my father was on the bed in hospital. The next moment, it was my father's body that is on the bed, not my father anymore. This moment, if not for mindfulness, I wouldn't have been able to manage the whole thing in that sense. I'm not saying people who are not practicing mindfulness don't manage deaths of families, but for me, I could become aware of, okay, this is what has happened, and let me do the right thing, right? He was wearing a ring. I removed his ring and put it into the pocket, and I tied his feet. This was in a government hospital, and closed his eyes. And then, although he had not really signed, I called and said, donate his eyes to the Eye Society. Then I knew now next is going to be planning and executing a lot of things. So this was at 4 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I ate. There were some fruits. I ate them, so I didn't know that. I knew that I wouldn't be able to get to eat. And then I managed the whole process, you know, as of like a project. Right. Now, I don't think, if I didn't have this practice even at very basic stages at that time, I wouldn't be that confident to handle that moment. And then when I came home, there was this crying mother and my sister, and then how I guided them throughout the period. You know, how probably we'll discuss it later through an example, but suffice to say that how we manage as a family this unexpected death, thanks to mindfulness. Then I had to, I'm a kind of a person, I have I have interests in different fields. So obviously then your life is full and stretched, yes. Right? So then it's very important to learn how to switch off from one and move to the other. So that really helped me to, in a way, you could say compartmentalize, or to focus, right now this is what I'm doing, right? And then you finish that, you get on with the next one. And another interesting story that I can tell you is, yeah, that is very important, because when I was in advertising, right, after a few months, the previous job that I had at Woodplex, I knew I was not adding value to the company, right? I was given a bike and petrol. You know, I was 24, and at that time, what else you want? And but I went and told my boss, you know, boss, I don't think I'm adding value. He said, I never told you. I said, you never told me, but I know that's what I'm
What you're feeling.
that I'm feeling. And then I joined this advertising company, Dialis Advertising. Now, for a person who had a bike, a job without a bike is a big difference. So now I was missing this bike, and I got another job with a bike, but that was not a job that I enjoyed. Now, before leaving this advertising company, I was planning everything, and I wanted to hand over everything and go, although it was in my probationary period. During this time, one day, the general manager at that time said something like, you know, those who want to leave can leave anytime, you know, like something. That really made me really angry. And I came back from his room straight to my desk where I had the letter of resignation already typed. I just wanted to put the date and, you know, throw it at his face and walk out.
This is, I'm guessing, before you honed your mindfulness
Yes.
test.
But for some luck, the moment I picked up the letter, I suddenly realized that is what he did, what he said. But why did he say that? You know? Now, then I could realize he was under tremendous pressure. So many others were leaving at that time, and you know, so I didn't react. Now, if I didn't do that, when I was unhappy at the second place, right, when I wanted to come back, they said, we never asked you to go, so you please come and start work. Right? So that was very important in life, because that 6 years is the one that I got so much of exposure into advertising, marketing, and to the marketing fraternity and everything. So if I acted on that impulse, right, that would have been different. Then I used to lose temper quite a lot. One day when I came to office, I found that my room was locked and the guy who had to open it was not there. I was so angry and I banged the door and, you know, it broke open. Right, mind you, this is in office. You don't do things like that in office. Now, that was me at that time. But by constant practice of mindfulness, right, made me realize it's weakness that you get angry, not when you are strong. Right? So that really helped me to be much, I would say, collected in situation. Not that I don't get angry, but how you react when you get angry. You know, that's the whole point. It's not that you don't get angry, right? What you do when you get angry, you know. So those things help because of the mindfulness.
And I think from what you're suggesting, what you're saying, even though we consider this as looking inward bound, so to speak, it's also in essence being empathetic towards another individual as well. In the context of the general manager example that you said, what you noted was that you realized why he said that rather than simply thinking of yourself alone.
Yes. Now, in order to do that, you need to create that space, which is like in between buildings, you know, they make a fire escape,
Right.
fire space. That's what happens, right? The mindfulness will tell you, excuse me, something is happening. Right?
Exactly.
So then you become aware. You see, that's what happened,
Yeah.
right? So if you can come to that level of alertness most of the time, you operate from a different mind operating system, MOS, a new version.